Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. Welcome to Chasing Those Sixes. Today, we're going to take a quick look inside Footsore Miniatures Mortal Gods skirmish games in ancient Greece. This is the starter box, and I'm going to say it up front. This is one of, if not, the best starter boxes I have found when getting into miniature games, for picking a game, for buying anything for a game. And the reason for that is when we look at a starter box, I think a lot of the times we get taken in by lovely advertising and, oh, there's two sides. And what I find ends up happening is that maybe the box doesn't come with the full rule book, it doesn't come with the ability to build lists because they hide the points in other books, or they're hidden under PDFs and stuff online. This box comes with the full rulebook and everything you need to build an army. So we'll go over that as we get through the box, but really where to begin on this box. I mean, first of all, as we can see, lovely artwork. The company Footsore Miniatures uses Greek miniatures from the Victrix line, I can never say the name, of plastic miniatures, which are lovely, and we'll take a wee look at those later on. But the box is quite a hefty chunk of cards, so just a standard card box. It didn't come shrink wrapped or anything like that, it's just as is. So we shall quickly have a wee flip over of the box. Apologies for the light, and unfortunately I've not got the best setup at the moment, but that might be rectified in the future. So as we can see on the back, some pictures of some lovely miniatures, some lovely Greek miniatures. These are all the miniatures in the box. Obviously they come unbuilt and unpainted, but I'm sure with some time you will be able to create a lovely miniature force yourself out of these. So let's have a look at the contents. So we get 38 plastic Greek miniatures. So it says 16 mercenary hoplites, 18 unarmoured hoplites, 8 peltasts, 6 archers, all of the cards that you need to play. It also comes with the full rulebook, no half jobs here, 2 reference sheets, which I think is a really lovely addition to the box, 48 markers, these are just coloured beads, 2 measuring sticks which are unique to this game, made for this game, 10 dice, Mortal Gods dice, which are these white dice that we see here, 10 damage dice, which is these dice here, and a d6. So I don't think we should mess about, I think I should just burst straight into this, so let's have a quick look. So it's just a slidey off box. I don't know if I could do this one-handed. It's been a bit tight. Hang on. So with much difficulty, the lid is off. So it's just a slidey lid. There's no fancy artwork on the box or anything like that. It's just plain. It's just a cardboard box. So I have been into this, so your order might be different. So first things first, the full coloured rulebook with a quick reference on the back. We'll take these out. This is our cards, which as you can see are still shrink wrapped. Here are some more cards. These are, I think these will be all of the unit cards. Let's have a look. We have our bag of dice. These are very important. I shall explain why. This is an extra. That doesn't count. This is an extra. We'll take that out. Our bag of proprietary dice. I think there was a slight mispack on mine, as I have got what looks to be a dice from a different game system, unless there is a use for it. But I think that's for Gangs of Rome, so that's fine. But here's what everybody's interested in. Let's get stuck into the plastic. So we have some sprues here. We'll take all of these out. We have some more sprues here. Lots of sprues. So 4 large sprues and 3 smaller sprues. Pop these off to the side. And finally, if it'll come on, it's well packed in, we have our unique spear-shaped measuring sticks and the bases that the system uses. So there's lots and lots of different base sizes here. I won't mess around with this too much until I've unwrapped it because that glare is quite bad, so that's okay. We'll come back and have a look. And finally, our 2 quick reference sheets, which are lovely. They're made out of like a thick card, so they're feel quite durable. So let's push all this off to the side and let's start bringing things into focus and having a wee look at things. So let us take a quick glance at the rulebook, full colour as you can see, which is lovely. It's also made of a nice. The inner pages feel like standard paper, but the outer page, the binding of the book feels quite heavy. So we've got a lovely map, some lovely artwork, some what appears to be Spartans going up against Athenians, but could be wrong. The owl shield. We get a contents page, a quick introduction as to what the game is. We'll get some lovely story, so it tells us about what period it takes place in, the Greek city-states, and then it's straight into rules and things about the game. So again, it's full colour. This is a conversation that we will have when we come on to the glass beads, but yeah, it goes through everything. It explains the layout, the function of a card, and yeah, just generally quite a nice book. It's relatively well laid out. Everything's quite bright. It gives you great examples of things. So yeah, generally movement and stuff. These bases, which again we'll come on to a little bit later on when we bust them open. But yeah, in general, a nice book. I won't bore you too long. It's a typical book. But again, this is the complete rule set for the game. The only additions that would be is if you want to take it to the mythic side of things, but we'll maybe come on to that another day. So this is, in the box, the full rulebook, which is an absolutely massive thumbs up for me. It means that you can take this box and go straight into playing the game at its full potential. There's no need to go out and buy extra rules and extra things. Everything is in here. So I think this book also includes things like your scenarios, how to, so you've got your scenarios here. We've got our lovely way in which they sort of tell us to set up and all these different weird and wonderful ways, which is great. So, and then like I say, our scenarios, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 scenarios in the book, which is again lovely, 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 lovely. So we'll push this off to the side, and the next thing I want to show you, strangely enough, is not going to be the bases of the miniatures. We're going to get the beads out of the way. So here we are again, back. Now we are looking at the beads. Now these are just glass beads, black, white and red. This is your activation system for the game. You would draw, so I pointed out in the rulebook, a Mortal Gods bag. The game is very similar if anyone's had any sort of run-ins with bolt action. You tally up the bead colours that you would have. So the black represents your leader. He has 3. The white represents your companion. So that's all of your other units. They tend to get 1 each. And the red is the omen. The game does not have a you go, I go until all of our units have gone system. It does have a you go, I go system, so it has alternating activations based on this. There are 3, as you can see, 1, 2, 3 red beads. These are called your omen beads. When you draw these, your omen counters or whatever, after you've drawn the 3rd one, the turn comes to an end. So you might have activated, you and your opponent might have activated only a couple of units and then the turn draws to an end. But it's a lovely activation system. The only complaint I have really about the box in itself is that there is no bag included. So you're going to need some kind of dice bag or some way to draw at random the beads. So this great big hunking stack of cards is in fact your units. Now I'm not going to go through all of them, but we'll have a quick glance over them. So each army or warband is called a locos or a logos, and each leader is called a lokagos. So up here we have the points cost. This chappie is 65 points. The dot next to it tells us how many miniatures is included in this unit. The symbols in the top left, the symbol in the furthest left, the Greek helmet with the lovely finishing, tells us that this is indeed a hero, and the cuirass next to that tells us that this is a heavy or a heavily armoured unit. Got all the stats on the card, any special rules, everything needed to play on one single area. The cards are quite thick, they're quite reasonably heavy, and we'll just split the deck and have a look at another card. So we'll see if we can't find, so here we go. So this is the Paropoloi. So as we can see, this is 35 points. Now this symbol is important. What this tells us is that this is a set that is mounted on of 3 figures mounted on one of the triangular bases. Now this system uses small groups bound together on fancy proprietary bases, but essentially the phalanx of the game, so that's the chaps with the big fat shields and spears, all rank up together and can form a phalanx or a phalanx depending on what you say. This symbol means that they are medium armoured and that they are a companion, so this is your troops. Again, all the stats are here. It tells you that you can form a single group with 2 other groups to form of hoplites, and this turns this individual base. You would form this up with 2 other bases and this would form a phalanx. Tells you what happens. Again, same material, lovely stuff. We shall split the deck again. I can't pronounce that, so we'll try a different one. So here's another chappie. This guy's, as you can see by the card, unarmoured. So this is an Acontestes. So 17 points, single model, companion, no armour. Now that's important because there are some rules that interact with folk that are in armour and stuff. Again, all of the rules here. This is a javelin thrower. It just so happens to be. I'll see if we can't find one with the other symbol. So here is the other form of basing. So this is a 32 point unit. This is Toxotai. This is the archers. This is 3 chaps mounted on a round base. What this means is that the 3 of them together essentially form one unit and cannot form up with anything else. So base sort of description is important, but we can come on to that as we go. So as you can see, that's a hefty stack of cards. We also get some information about when we do form a phalanx. All of these cards are here. They're all made of the same material. They're all quite heavy duty. They feel a bit more long lasting. So let's have a look at the other stack of cards. So these are injury cards. These are applied to your Lokagos, your heroes, when they take damage, which is fine. Again, the game's got a multitude of different things. You essentially draw from this. Now, this is what makes this game incredibly, what would you say, unique. Flip them over out of the way. When you draw one of the red beads from the bag, the omen, you would shuffle these cards, all of them that are marked. Again, same quality, marked as omens. You would draw this and there is an effect, and this is what gives the game some randomness, some flavour. So sometimes they might be that nothing. So this one, for example, the blood red moon. A deep red moon looms over the battle. When called upon to make a courage roll, any warriors from either locus will automatically pass, but take +1 damage. And then it tells you who it affects. So this essentially, you would play this out, and for both teams, this has an impact. So here's a different card. Flight of birds. A flock of birds suddenly takes flight over the battlefield. The hero assigned this omen must always move towards the nearest enemy. So it tells you at the bottom who it's assigned to. It even gives you the matching symbols again. So your hero, so here's your Locos. As you can see, the symbols match. So again, the game gives you all of the information. Included in here is gifts as well. This lets you upgrade your heroes, upgrade your units. It gives you a points cost, who it's attached to, and then all of the information that you need to use the card. So again, lovely piece, lovely piece. Let's move on. I don't think there's anything too exciting here. This is a bag of dice. They use their own proprietary dice in this game. If you hold on, we shall get the bag open. Let's have a look. So these are injury dice. These are essentially just D6. There's nothing too fancy about them. It's 1 to 6 numbered. Lovely skull here. These are the important dice. So in the game, all of the dice rolls are made with this. This represents everything from attacking, inflicting damage, to defending, to this is what they call the wild card, the Pegasus. Let's get that the right way around, the Pegasus. Everything's marked to tell us in the game. If we look back at a card, so we'll take the Locogos for example, next to these stats there's a lovely blue Pegasus. This means that when you're making a test that corresponds with a symbol, so this is making an attack, this is defense, this is courage. If you roll a Pegasus, it counts as a success. If it is red, it counts as a negative success. So nice and simple, nothing too fancy, it's just a bag of dice. And we shall quickly take a quick glance over the quick reference. So everything's here, what they all mean. So here's those symbols again. I showed you the cuirass at the top left, that's heavy armor. There's 2 shields as medium armor. Dead simple. Tells you what all of the dice results mean, and it really is and as simple as that. It gives you what all of the symbols mean, which is handy because it means you don't have to footer about. You can flip this thing over. If you've got the 2 of them, you can keep an eye. Tells you how to do an attack, about forming up your bases into phalanx, and then how to recruit, which is perfect. So we'll take a quick look. Apologies, my dog disappeared. So we'll take a quick look at this. We'll pop this out. So these are MDF. These are their own proprietary measuring sticks, but you don't need to use them if you don't want to. The game works in inches. There's no trickery here. So we'll pop this one out. Dead simple. They're lovely. They're shaped like a spear, and we go from 0 to 12 inches. Pop the second one out. Lovely, both 12 inches. You could put them back to back to give you 24. You could jam them together. Again, they're not necessary, but it is a lovely touch. They are quite chunky. They're, I think, maybe 3mm, 4mm thick. They're quite hefty. And again, they're just marked in inches. You could quite easily tap these up with a bit of paint and they would look lovely. So let's take a look at the thing that I think most people are here for. Let's have a look at Victrix miniatures. So there are 4 different sprues, 4 different sprues included in the box. This group here is the 6 archers that you get. So this would be your Toxotai. Each sprue comes with 2 chappies on it and a variety of bits and bobs. They are highly detailed miniatures. If the camera will focus, perhaps, maybe not. Just trying to get this to play the game. There we go. As you can see, they are highly detailed. The straps, the sword. We've got bow hands here, so you can go for a bow drawn or an undrawn bow. Couple of quivers. Your second body, more quivers. And it looks like we've got our heads here, which is nice. Again, nice detail. See if we can't get it to focus on one of these faces so we can get a nice up close. No, we're not. The camera's just not playing ball with me today at all. Apologies for that. You do take it from me. The detail is lovely. They're just slot on heads. They just slide on to the necks. The only thing that I would say is there is exactly 2 heads and 2 bows, so customization will be limited, and these sprues are identical. So we get 6 Toxotai there. Let's pull the next sprue off. This will be the lighter infantry. I would think your Paropoli. Let's see. Yep. Again, the quality is great. A nice mix of poses. We've got somebody reaching out there. We've got a few different shields if you want to go down that road. Which is fine. We've got some guys who are in the throwing position. We've got, so there's 8 figures on here, and there is more than 8 heads. That's 5, 10, 15, 20. Some unhelmeted, some with a fancy helmet. And then if we flip it round again, we get some more helmeted heads. We also get the, I'm not sure what the flashing's called, but it's the horsehair tuft that goes over the helmet. So as we can see, there's a trumpet. We all love a tooter in these games. There's different mixes of swords and different lengths of spears and what would probably think would be javelins, which is lovely. So another quick look over that. Pop that off to the side. Another unique sprue. So this will be hoplites. We can tell because we get the lovely chunky shields here. I can't remember what they're called. The historical buffs are going to shoot me if they see this, but I do apologise. So again, we get some heads up here, some flashing. We get some nice spears here. The spears look not too bad. There is some mould lines on them, I'm afraid, but nothing horrendous. Nice mix of shields. Even detailed on the back to fit how the Greeks used the shields, where they put their arm through one strap and then they held the shield at the front. Again, some nice miniatures. Nothing I would say I wasn't expecting. Nothing I wasn't expecting. So, yeah. Again, we get our trumpet at the bottom, another mix of heads, so lovely. So these will be your light or medium armoured, you might use them as. So here's the heavy hitters. Now the box comes with 2 identical sprues of these, so we'll just pop that off to the side. What you see here is what you'll get. This is your heavy phalanx units, and as we can see, we do have lovely detail here, which is nice. And we get, again, this sprue is packed. It's not a GW sprue. There's lots of empty space, but that's okay. So we get a mix of swords, some Xiphos swords. We get, again, more of these lovely shields. They're a nice finish on them. We get some different arms, and that'll allow us to pose these big spears differently. We get some fabric here. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but that's okay. It looks like there is a piece missing. Now, I have had a look at these before. I know Victrix well enough that it should be a piece here. As we can see, it's missing. And it should have a cape on it. But that's okay. I don't think that's too horrendous. Again, a nice mix of heads with helms, and then the flashings at the bottom. So again, a lovely, lovely, lovely box. That's plenty of plastic in here for any enthusiast. So the final thing we're going to have a quick look at is the bases. Now, these are MDF bases, and they come with this cardboard backing, which is obviously pop out. Now, I don't like this. This is where we're going to have maybe some difference of opinion, but the quality is nice. Let's just pop one of these out. They're well fastened in. Looks like laser cut. And so as you saw, that's the front. This is also the back. So these pop out. And I think these are 30mm round. So the idea is this is your phalanx base. So you take 3 Hoplites, you pop them in there. If you put 3 of these bases together, which you would do it, you'd have to imagine it like this. And then this one would be flipped round on the other side, or whichever way you like. But that's how you form your phalanx. We've got our 3 other bases. These larger bases are for heroes, and I think these you can just mount maybe like individual models on them. So if we flip this over, as you can see, everything still pops out the back. That's where this cardboard comes in. Now the idea is that you would pop all of these bases out, you would build and paint your figures whichever way you like, and then you would pop these cardboard pieces out and stick them on the bottom, and that would stop these bases from obviously falling through. I live in Scotland, and my house is, if it's no freezing cold, it's damp. Cardboard doesn't like water. MDF doesn't like water. And even painting cardboard, it will still absorb water if you have not entirely saturated the card. I'm not so keen on this. I would have much preferred to have seen an MDM base like this with holes cut out and maybe a 2mm lip instead, but it is what it is. It's a nice system. I like the basing system. I'm just not so keen on the card. The card gives me a little bit of fear. So if we pop this off to the side, we shall bring on some miniatures. And here we are nearing the end. Here is a look at some of the completed miniatures. I have not affixed the shields because the shields are so large that they essentially sit like this over the miniature and cover so much, and I think will be awkward to paint. So going together, these were a doddle. I mean, seriously, a doddle. The plastic is excellent quality. As you can see, there's just loads of detail. I shoved that on the top just to get a bit of a difference. Yeah, nice miniature. Very few mould lines. I needed to scrape off a few on the arms and on the spear. The spear is mould lined on either side where it obviously meets the mould inside the cast, but that's okay. Again, another chappy spear ready to go. It'll look wonderful when it's got a lovely big round shield on. But yeah, I took these miniatures from the Spartan box because I bought a deal which I will quickly run over. As you can see, there is a bit of mould line on the helmet there. I didn't want to scrape them all off when I put them together because I knew I was going to show you what you're getting out of the box. But again, I can't fault the miniature. Some mould lines on the spear, but nothing horrendous. So let's have a little chat about this. Was one that actually came out. This is the cape and the cloak that I was talking of, which I just put together because I thought it would look cool. So that's the contents of the box, and that was a little bit about activations and stuff. What do I think of this box as a whole? I think from a getting into a game standpoint, I think you're going to really struggle to find a box that's better. The only thing that's missing from this box is some place to put the beads for the activation system. But otherwise, you're essentially, with what you've got in the box, you can make quite easily two opposing forces at maybe 125, maybe more points. You know, you can both have one base of archers, you can have some javelin throwers, you know, you can have hoplites, you can have a beefed up Locagos. You can really go to town. From a gaming point of view, the miniatures are reasonably high quality, they're reasonably high detail, they're not Games Workshop level of detail, let's not pretend that that's the case, but they also don't cost nearly as much. you get the full rulebook, reference sheets, dice, bases. Even they even give you custom measuring sticks. It is an excellent, excellent box. What really sells this box is that this box right now on Footsore Miniatures website is retailing for £60 plus postage. I think postage, I paid about £8 for postage. Now I bought, like I say, a fairly large set. I bought this and an Athenian starter box and the Spartan starter box. So I bought way more than normal. But even if it is in the £8 region, that, let's just say for an easy figure, rounds this box up to £70. Do you get £70 worth of value from this box? Absolutely. You can buy this box, buy something to put, or if you already got something to put the beads in, great. And that's literally all you need to play. You just need your playing surface, which you need for every game. So that's not a unique to this. Criticisms, it doesn't come with a dice bag. I'm not so keen on that. I don't like the cardboard underside for the bases. However, they're not deal breakers for me. This was an easy purchase. I have had a game of this with a friend. It's a lovely game. We thought it was going to just be two lines of phalanx clashing together, and that was going to be it. But the game is not as killy as you think, and it really did come down to for us to the last turn. The omen system is lovely. It adds a little bit of flavour to the game. The bead system is great because you don't know what you're going to get to activate, which is, again, fantastic. So, you know, this is an easy recommend for me. If you're interested in this game, I would say to you, get onto Footsore Miniatures website. Check them out. Like I say, £60 for this box, and you've seen the amount of stuff that comes in it. You're getting just shy of 40 miniatures. You're getting beads. You're getting dice. You're getting MDF bases. You're getting, you know, a full rule book. You're getting reference sheets. It is a game in a box, and like I say, I think this is an easy purchase. I will probably pop the link for Footsore Miniatures down below. And again, I just like to say, you know, this is an unscripted video. I just open the box, say what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling, and I try to keep it cohesive. I'm not a big editing guy. And all I can really say is if you've made it 30 minutes into this video, you're a bit of a warrior, you're a bit of a legend. I would appreciate it very much if you hit the like button, if you would subscribe to the channel. I'd like to do an unboxing of the Athenian box. It'll be much, much shorter than this, I promise.